Welcome. This is normally we have these calls every Tuesday at 9 p.m. and this is all about growing your business, and we are going to keep it short, sweet, to the point, and give you some tips and some things to grow your business. Hopefully at the end we'll have some time for questions and all that if anybody has questions, but I'm so excited about everything that's happening with Dare to Dream, with this group. If you guys didn't see yet, you need to check out the Diamond Dash post in Dare to Dream. Just go to the Dare to Dream group page and search Diamond Dash in the search bar, and you can read all about it. You probably actually wouldn't have to scroll very far to find it, but that is for people who are emeralds, for coaches who are emeralds. This is a very special group that's being hosted by the top of the top that are in our network. So we're talking Jessica Bowser Nelson, Ruth Schroner, who came in at number 3 in the company, number 3 or number 4 in the company, which is huge because she's right on our Dare to Dream team. She started just like all of us did, and a bunch of other, elite leaders from our team. They're going to be hosting this, giving the information, giving you the tools that you need to reach Diamond in your group or in your business. So if you're an Emerald coach, then you can get in on this. Basically, the way it works, you can read through all the specifics, but there's a $25 buy-in, and you pay $25 to be a part of this group because they want you to take it seriously. They want you to have some skin in the game, and you're going to get, all this amazing training. And basically, whoever reaches Diamond by the date that they have set gets a portion of that pot of everybody's putting in $25. And if you reach Diamond, then it gets split by everybody who reaches Diamond. So, you can do the math on that if you figure out how many people that are investing in this and getting involved in it. Very cool. So, but to me, the money incentive, that's a cool thing, but the training that's happening in this, I would pay double for that, easy, because you're hearing from the best of the best, and it's concentrated specific steps that are going to be really good. So the only thing is you have to be an Emerald already. So if you're not Emerald, you need to make this a week to get to Emerald, because I think there's only like 4 days left, which is totally possible to get to Emerald by then. So if you have questions on that, reach out to me and I will get them answered for you. And if that's something you want to jump in on, I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's kind of like a no-brainer. If you're already an Emerald, you want to be in that group. So super exciting. Of course, we have our incentive, which is if you get to Diamond by the end of before August 31st, we're doing a retreat in October of this year. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. So I don't want to spend too much time on announcements because I want to dig into our topic for tonight. So if there's anything I'm missing, y'all let me know. A pumpkin spice latte Shakeology is coming out this year. I'm pretty excited about that. I hope it's good. I'm really picky about my Shakeology. I just like the chocolate so much that I'm pretty partial to that, but I'm prepared to be wowed. Okay, so let's talk tonight about the really practical stuff, because guys, for me, I've been doing this a few years now, and I'll be honest, it took me maybe longer than most to get my start, to get my momentum, and I'm okay with that because because it made me a stronger coach. I learned a lot of things, what not to do. And it really, it put a tough skin on me and showed me how determined that I am to make this work. And I'm glad that I pressed through all the hard times and all the times I wanted to give up, because now, I'm, we're at the place where we're at and we're really enjoying this. But I can say that I, in the past year, have really come to a place of finding my balance in this business. And I feel like that's something that I did not have the first few years. And it would stress me out because I wanted to hit my goals so bad. And I would get so stressed out and so defeated feeling if I wasn't hitting my goals, if I wasn't hitting Success Club, if I wasn't, hitting that next rank. And it was eating me up. And it was not just eating me up mentally, but it would eat up my time too, because I would spend every, waking moment on the phone or on the computer. And I just didn't have that balance. I felt like and I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, but I felt like I had way too much on my plate. When I started, I was working for 2 other organizations, that I loved, but obviously that was like priority. And, and just keeping up with the responsibilities of being a wife and all that, like it felt, and then trying to learn a business and then run it, it felt like too much on my plate. And even now, we run at church as well. So I still have, even though I don't work for those other organizations, we run a church and I have a baby now. So, life is always going to be full of privileges, blessings, priorities, responsibilities, other things that are outside of this business. And I know each and every one of you has that. So, the question is, how do I balance, this business? How do I get it off the ground? How do I get it going while I have so many other things going on, and not burn myself out? And so I'm just going to share with you some of the things I did, some of the adjustments I made, because I got to the point where I was like, I wasn't enjoying my business anymore because I had no boundaries. I had no balance. And I was just stressed about it all the time. And if you're stressed about it all the time, then you're not going to enjoy what you're doing. Hello. And if you're not enjoying it, then that's going to show in your work. That's going to show in what you're doing. And if you're not having the joy behind it, then it like takes the wind right out of your sails. So it's so important that you create boundaries for yourself within this business so that you're setting yourself up to succeed. You're setting yourself up to not be defeated, to not be stressed out, and to actually enjoy what you're doing, because that's going to actually cause you to grow more and enjoy the process. So many times it's like we want so badly to be at that goal, and you're always going after that goal, going after that goal, going after that goal. And then you get to that goal, and then you're going after the next goal, going after the next goal, going after the next goal. And you're just constantly going after those goals, which is so important to have goals. Like, don't, misunderstand what I'm saying. It's so important to have goals. If you don't have goals, then, if you aim for nothing, you're going to hit it. So you got to have goals. You got to have something you're aiming towards. But, it's so important to not just be all about the goal, the goal, the goal. You got to enjoy the journey, because otherwise, if it's all about the goal and you're not enjoying the journey, then you're not actually, being effective at what you're doing, because, more than just going after goals, we're going after helping people. And if you just make it all about the goals and all about the numbers, then you'll be stressed out and you won't enjoy, and you won't truly make the impact that you're called to make in this. So it's super important to make these adjustments. So I'm just going to share with you guys some really practical things that I did. And towards the end, at the 15-minute mark, the last 15 minutes of this, we're actually going to put some of this into practice. Okay. So I need to keep an eye on the time. Okay. So the first thing that I really had to do was schedule my business hours. You will talk to some coaches and they will tell you that they just work, all day, every day, that's what they do. I can't do that. Like, if I do that, it will drive me crazy. Like, I would be so stressed out, and I would just feel like my nose was always in my phone. And for some people, they're okay with that. I was not okay with that. I did not want to do that. When I'm having family time, I want to have family time. I want to have quality family time. I want to look my family in the eye and not be sitting at the dinner table, and I'm on my device, they're on their device, and, the baby's just slinging food everywhere. That's not how it goes at our house. I want to have quality time. I want to have quality connection. If I'm with my family, I'm with my family. If I'm taking a picture, okay, that's probably, we do that. We have our time, we're on our devices and all that, but I don't want to be working when I am supposed to be having family time. You know what I mean? And so for me, I really had to get strict about setting business hours. We all have our schedules. We all have so many things in our schedules, but, and I would, by nature, you probably heard me say this before, I'm not the most organized, or like, I'm not a clinical person. I'm more of like a free bird, spontaneous. I like to just kind of, woo. But when I started getting serious about this business, I realized I have to set business hours, because if I don't, I'm either going to be working all the time, okay, or I'm just not ever going to get anything done, because the discipline wouldn't be there to stick me to my business hours, and I would just go with the flow, go here, go there, do that. And I'm just always running in all these directions and not actually getting anything done. So, I used to think people that like wrote to-do lists and all that were like, just really weird, like, very particular OCD type people. But I had to become like that, because I realized I had to develop the discipline in my daily habits and in my daily schedule in order to move forward, in order to have some boundaries and have some clarity and have some sanity, and not be just working. So that's the first thing. You need to look at your schedule, and you need to determine what your business hours are going to be. It doesn't mean that every day is going to go perfectly. I have my schedule each and every day, and probably half the time it actually doesn't go quite as planned. All right. And you got to be okay with that. You do got to go with the flow. But I find if I actually sit down and schedule my business hours, I'm much more likely to get things done during that time than I would if I didn't schedule anything. So I literally do that. I literally schedule my day out, from this hour to this hour, we got this going on. From this hour to this hour, I got this is my working window. From this hour to this hour, this is when this is happening. And even on your days, like you might have some days where you're busier than others. So on the days that I'm really busy, I'm not scheduling, I'm maybe not scheduling my normal business hours. If I know I have a super busy day coming up, then I might have to condense my working hours that day into 1 or 2 hours. But if I know that I still have that 1 hour set aside, then I know that, okay, that's going to be my 1 hour of focused business building activities for that hour. And if that's all I got, then that's all I got. But I'm going to stick to that 1 hour. I'm not going to be like, oh, I didn't have 3 hours to work on it today, so I'm just not going to do anything. No, like I have found actually that the less time I have, the more I get done, because it forces me to be more organized and more focused. And so, for those who are super busy people and you have a lot on your plate, don't look at that as a disadvantage. Actually look at it as an advantage, because you actually you're forced to be more productive. You're forced to be more focused because that's all the time you got. And so use it to your advantage. So schedule your business hours. And for me, even now, like, I've got about 3 days a week where those are my, heavily focused Beachbody days. And I work during my baby's 2 naps. She takes 2 naps a day. Those are my business hours. And I get my husband during those 3 days. He watches her for me for like an hour or 2. And I have, so I have her nap time and I have the hour or 2 that he watches her. That's my business hours. And then after she goes to bed, then I have a couple other days during the week where I've got other things on my plate. We run a church. And so my focus on those days is that, and my Beachbody stuff is a little bit more limited, but it's helped me to balance it out a little bit. So, because I found if I was trying to do everything every day, I got so overwhelmed and I didn't want to touch it because I just got so overwhelmed. I was like, it's too much. So instead of trying to do everything all in one day, every day, I space it out. Even my house chores and stuff, I space those out. I'm talking about getting practical, get into the nitty gritty. Don't try to do everything all in one day. Separate your things. Have like, on this day, I'm going to work on this. On this day, I'm going to work on this. On this day, I'm going to work on this. And, be realistic. Give yourself realistic goals. Don't give yourself this ginormous to-do list if you know that it's not going to get done. Because then at the end of the day, instead of checking those things off, you're going to feel defeated because you only got through, half of them because you gave yourself such a ridiculous list. So give yourself something realistic. Give yourself something that's going to push you to be focused and diligent and productive, but not something that's going to stress you out and overwhelm you and leave you feeling defeated at the end of the day. So, take every day when the night before, I kind of have like, I make what I call a dump list, where you just take everything that's swirling around up here in your brain and you put it down on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be in any particular order, just dump it all on a piece of paper or on a note on your phone, whatever. And just get it all off your head. So you're not trying to keep track of all these things in your head. Clear your mind. I call it a brain dump. So have a brain dump and then start organizing those things into categories. Start organizing those things into, okay, this thing can be done on this day. This thing can be done on this thing. This thing that I need to do can be done on this thing. And start spacing out some of those things that are all up in your head. And each day, the night before, each day, plan out, like, these are the 3 things that I have to get done this day, and start those 3 things. Those are your priority things. And then everything else is an extra. Everything else is a bonus. So maybe one of those 3 things is my power hour. Maybe one of those 3 things is, a new coach call. Maybe one of those 3 things is listening to a training, and those are your 3 business priorities for that day. And you're like, those 3 things I know I can get done. I'm going to get those things done. Or maybe your 3 things is, your Beachbody time, and then, something else that you have going on that day. Those 3 things, those are your priority things that by the end of the day, these 3 things have to be done, and everything else is a bonus. Because if you give yourself 3 things, you can likely handle those 3 things. And then by the end of the day, you feel great, you feel encouraged, you feel productive, you're like, yes. And it helps build momentum for you. It helps build you momentum, even just mentally. And that makes such a difference. So that is super important to, even practical things. Just dump everything that's on your mind, put it on paper, make a schedule for yourself, and really stick to it. So, when you do sit down to work on your business, you've got to have like a laser focus when you sit down to work on your business, especially if you're limited on time. So set a timer. That's one of the best things you can do, is set a timer. We're going to go over the power hour in just a second. But a couple other things that, that I've done that really helped me. Like I said, I'll plan out my day. The night before, I plan out my day for the next day. I schedule my posts for my groups, because when I wake up in the morning and I have, my time to work my business, I can't spend all that time mentally trying to figure out what I'm going to post in my groups and all that. So the night before is when I'm scheduling my posts for my groups. And I might even get some ideas for the posts that I'm going to have throughout my day or whatever. But I'll schedule those. So the next day, my posts are going. I don't have to, I don't have to sit there and try to remember, like, I need to post in this group at 4 o'clock, and then I need to post in there at 8 o'clock, and I need to post in this group. I mean, that would drive anybody crazy. So, so you see how having limited time forces you to get really organized, and it forces you to plan in advance. It's just like your workouts. If you don't schedule them, if you don't plan for them, they're not going to happen. So you have to make it a priority. You have to make those things that you need to do a priority. Put it on a schedule. Even if you're not a scheduled person, you have to become one. If you want, if you want something that nobody else has, you have to be willing to do something that nobody else has done. And when I came into this, I was like, well, that's just not me. I'm just not that kind of person. And I just kept saying that to myself until I just realized that me saying that to myself over and over and over again is not getting me anywhere. I'm still stuck in the same place. I'm still not getting anywhere. I'm still frustrated. And I'm still stressed out about this. And I'm like, that's not right. That's not what I want. I see, I might have to change something. I might have to do something. And that has always been my attitude in this business, that it has been done and it can be done. What do I need to learn? What do I need to change to make it happen? I've seen people who have more obstacles, who have more excuses than I had. And I saw them crushing their business goals. And I said, if they can do it, I can do it. What do I need to overcome? What do I need to change? What do I need to adjust? What do I need to fix to progress, to move forward? There's obviously something that I'm missing. And I would go back to the drawing board. I would go back to training on time management over and over and over again until I felt like I was getting it, until I felt like the light bulbs were coming on, until I felt like I was getting some progress. So whatever that is for you, whether it's time management or whatever it is, whatever your area where you feel like this is the thing that's tripping me up, this is the thing that I'm struggling with, you gotta make time. You gotta make it a priority to work on that and to improve that. So when you're sitting down and making your schedule, that's why you can't leave your PD out. You've got to include your PD. And I know that's like the first thing to go off the list, because it's like, whatever. But that's the thing that you actually need, because that's the thing that's going to cause you to accelerate. Because if you fix that obstacle that's been holding you back, if you fix that, then you can move forward. Then the time you do spend on your business is going to be accelerated, because you've been working on that thing that was an obstacle for you. So, think about that. So schedule your posts, schedule your business hours, schedule your posts, schedule the other things you have to do in your life. Make those lists. And then, when it comes to your business activities, do the priority things first. We're going to go over the power hour right now, but do the priority things first, because, the priority things is like sending those invites. The priority things is making sure that you're inviting new people, or that you're adding new people to your network, that you're connecting with new people. Those are the priority things. So I always do that first. I always do my invites first. That is the first thing I tackle, because I know that's the biggest, hardest thing for me. And I know if I tackle that right off the bat, then I'll have so much excitement, energy, and momentum built up that I'll be ready to tackle the other things. The other things are like easy. So do the hardest thing first. Whatever's hardest for you, do that first. The priority for me is always inviting, because that's the most important thing that I know is going to move my business forward. So, so tackle the priority things first. And, when I say set timers for your business, set those timers. You won't believe how much more you get done if you're working against the clock and you're working on a specific activity against the clock. So I don't want to run out of time. So we're going to go ahead and go over the power hours. So I'm going to make sure all of you guys have this in like a PDF form. But this is a power hour, and I love this. So every night, the night before, you can, or in the morning, if you're a morning person, you can sit down and, schedule this out and kind of plan it out, your goals for the day, your affirmations. This right here is for your PD. What PD did you do? This right here is for your exercise. What exercise did you do? This is for your Shakeology. So your power hour sheet, this is a power hour sheet. I really like this one because it includes your vital behaviors, okay? It includes your vital behaviors and your business activity tracker. It's like two things in one. And that's why I really like this one. So You got your vitals there. And so we're going to break it down here. The only thing I would add to this is like the time that I spend on it. So for friends, I would say 5 minutes. We're going to break down the power hour right here. So if you want to take notes, you can take notes on this. So adding friends, 5 minutes. That's literally just adding new people. It can be on Facebook or Instagram, but that's sending those friend requests. So add 5 new friends. And then you want to connect with 5 new people. So adding friends is 5 minutes. Then take 10 minutes. Okay, so the timer goes on. When that 5 minutes is up, if you've only added 3 people, then you've only added 3 people. That's okay, move on. But when that timer goes up, you move on to the next thing, like clockwork. So then the next thing would be connecting with new people. 10 minutes. I put 10 minutes for that. So that's sending, quick messages to maybe some of those new friends, or sending a message to, maybe even an old friend just to connect with them, see how they're doing. It could even be just scrolling through a specific portion of your newsfeed, not just the newsfeed that's got everybody and their mama on there, but maybe your July friends list in the newsfeed, or, maybe reach out to some of the people who participated in your free group and just chat with them or whatever. This is the forming, this is the getting to know people, this is the building relationship, this is that, sitting on a park and on a park bench talking to people kind of conversations that you're having to just build relationships. So spend 10 minutes doing that. It doesn't have to take you long. Get through as many as you can, and that's just, it should be lighthearted, it should be fun, it should be just connecting with people, whether it's on their post or through personal message or whatever. But spend 10 minutes connecting with some of those new people that are in your network and in your friends list. So that's 10 minutes. Then 15 minutes for invites. 15 minutes for invites. So that's where you want to start going through, looking, see who liked your post from yesterday that you wrote about fitness, or that you wrote about your superfoods, or even look at the post you made about your kid or whatever, and look at the comments and look at the likes. Start inviting those people. Go through the people who were in your last free group that you hosted. Invite those people. Go through some of the people that have been watching your Instagram stories, invite those people. You should never have a shortage of people to invite. And, you might even have a moment where maybe you're connecting with new people and you think, man, this girl would be such an awesome coach. I would love to have her on the team, but you're not ready to invite her yet because you want to spend some time forming her and getting to know her. Then take her name and put her name on a list, invite to coaching list or invite to challenge group list. So, you always have that list you can always refer back to when you're doing your invites and say, oh, okay, I'm ready to invite this person. I'm ready to talk to this person. But, spend 15 minutes or so doing your invites. You can also pull from, obviously, if you make an event page on Facebook and, the people who RSVP or the people that you've just invited, there should be no shortage of people to invite as long as you're constantly adding to your network and connecting with people. So do your invites. Take some time to personalize those invites. You can send cold messages, and a lot of people do that, and that works for them. For me, I feel better, I do better, I get much better response if my invites aren't cold invites. That means I've spent a little time getting to know this person previously. Or, I spend a little time before I invite them going to their Facebook page and maybe liking or commenting on a few of their pictures and just kind of see what's going on in their world before I just message them an invite. So then when I send them an invite, I can refer back to, what they've been up to lately, or ask them how they're doing. I saw they just moved, how you doing? That's awesome. Hey, by the way, wanted to let you know, I've got this fitness group coming up, and, you have your invites. Okay, recognition, which they have 5 spaces for this. I don't think you necessarily have to fill 5 spaces a day, but do take 5 minutes in your day and recognize somebody. Recognize someone on your team who's doing an awesome job. Recognize someone in your challenge group. Recognize someone publicly on your Facebook wall if they've had an awesome transformation. Maybe if you're a new coach and you don't have anybody doing that yet, go to the Dare to Dream page and look at the photo albums and look at the transformations and share someone else's transformation. Share someone else's financial transformation even, and publicly on your wall. So recognize someone who's doing something awesome to either encourage them or to inspire the other people that are watching you, that are hearing from you. But recognizing people is so important, and it builds them up and it builds you up also. So that's why I love that this is on here. That does not have to take on all 5 minutes tops. Okay, and then business invites, I put 10 minutes for that. I make it my goal to invite 3 people to check out our business every day, and that's my goal every day. But put a timer on 10 minutes. I'm going to invite people to check out coaching. And then 15 minutes plus, whatever extra time you have in your day or in your schedule can be devoted to your follow-ups, okay? And then throughout the day, the other things that are easier to do, that you can do on the run, that you don't need to be sitting down having focus time, would be, these things like checking in your social media posts, checking into your challenge groups and your accountability groups, and that kind of stuff, responding to comments and all that kind of stuff. So all the things you see here in the pink, these are all like the things you can do throughout your day. All these things over here in the purple, these are the things you want to do on that focused power hour. That is so important. So that's the power hour broken down, and if you can squeeze out a power hour once a day, 5 times a week, then I'm telling you, if it is a focused power, your business will move forward hands down. And if it's not, then you need to chat with me. We need to evaluate maybe some wording that you're using or something that might not be working quite right for you. But the thing is, we have all the scripts. If you go through the training in Dare to Dream University, you have all the scripts. You have good wording to use to help you, make that. So if you follow that, if you stick with it, don't try to reinvent the wheel, just try to make it your own. But if you do that, then you're going to see some progress. You're going to see some things start to click and start to fall into place. And if they're not, then reach out to me and let me know. So, all right, guys. So for the next 10 minutes, we have 10 minutes. I was going to say, let's go ahead and do, like a mini power hour or whatever, but we only have 10 minutes and that's not a lot of time. So what I am going to suggest, though, is 2 things. I'll see if you guys are up for this. And if you are, then we can do it a couple times a week if you want, or whatever. There's something called Power 15s, okay? And a Power 15, it's like a short, sweet, condensed version of a power hour, okay? So it's literally 15 minutes. So it would mean us coming on, like I would go live in our coach group for 5 minutes. We would figure out what our invite is going to be about. We talk about what our invite is going to be about, whether it's going to be inviting to a coaching group or inviting to a challenge group, and we would get our invites ready. So we would literally put the timer on for 5 minutes, and we're going to get our invites ready. If you want to share your invite, post with me, you can do that. I'll look it over. I'll give you some tips. Whatever we can do in that 5 minutes is what we'll do. But basically, the first 5 minutes of a Power 15 is going to be determining what our invite message is going to be. And then we're going to set a timer for 10 minutes. And for the next 10 minutes, we're going to go and invite as many people as possible using that invite that we just came up with or that we're working on. And we're going to take that 10 minutes and just say, okay, we're all going to go invite. And so for 10 minutes, we're going to just invite like crazy, get as many invites as we can in that 10 minutes. And then at the end of that, we come back and we post in the group and say, hey, I invited 5 or I invited 3 or I invited 10, and share how many invites we got. And I feel like that will help a lot of you kind of like get over that hump that is, that like just initial challenge to actually do the invite, and also build you up and show you the team effort behind it. So I am going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing it after our team calls on Tuesdays. So for 15 minutes after our team calls on Tuesdays, I'm going to start doing it. And if it goes really well and you guys feel really like excited about it and you want to do it more, then we can do it like another night of the week. We can do it on Thursdays or whatever. But I feel like that's just a little practical thing that we can do to kind of help just give us a little extra boost and an extra little like fire under our rears for it. So, because there's just something about having that focused time that, it just forces you to action. So with that being said, and this might be the miracle of the century, we have time for questions. So if you guys have any questions, we've got a few minutes. So just like wave your hand, unmute yourself, and ask away. Or not. That's fine too. No questions?
Hello?
Yes.
Hey. Do you personalize the messages when it comes to the coach invites or just for the challenge group invites?
I kind of do both, I mean, not always, but I kind of take it on a case-by-case basis. But generally, if I'm going to send a coach invite, I kind of want to see what this person's about. I want to know what's going on in their life before I just send an invite. So I'll just go to their Facebook page, and generally it's someone that, if I'm inviting them, it's someone that's either spent some time liking my post or commenting on my post, or I comment on their things. It's not like it's a total stranger to me, but I will go to their page, and I'll, kind of check out what they got going on, like and comment on their feed. So I'm kind of in tune with what's going on in their life. And I might make reference to that in the beginning of my invitation. So even though my invitation stays the same, what I preface it with, hey girl, how you doing? I see that you just had your second baby. Oh my gosh, and talk to her about that for a second, and then say, hey, and then go into the invite. So yeah. Are you saying something? Because I can't hear you. Gray, did you say anything else? I think we can't hear you. Oh. It's like chopping up. Okay. Michelina, did you have a question?
I was thinking about it, but I don't think I do. I'm sure I do as soon as we hang up.
Can you hear me? I'm not.
Oh, okay. You blacked out for a second, Gray. So, okay. Shaughnessy asks, how many hours a day on your business focus days do you shoot for? So for me, it can change because it honestly, it depends on my baby's nap time. So like on my days where I'm like really focused on my Beachbody stuff, she'll sleep for like an hour and a half in the morning. So I know I have that hour and a half window. So the minute she goes down, like I'm already preparing myself mentally, like before she goes down for her nap. So as soon as she goes down for her nap, I jump right into my business. I don't go get another cup of coffee. I don't go vacuum the floors. Like, I mean, even right now, like I have dinner and dishes that need to be cleaned up, but I want to get my business stuff done first, So my business hours are very focused business hours. There's so many things as moms that's going to pull you in like a million different directions. So on those days where I have like my focused Beachbody days, I have an hour and a half when she first naps. I'll probably have maybe like a 1.5 hour window that dad might watch her, in the middle of the day, give or take on that. And so that's 3 hours, and then she might take another nap. That's maybe 4 hours. And then at night after she goes to bed, I'll spend like a couple hours doing my follow-ups and scheduling things for the next day. So on like a really focused day, I would probably say I get anywhere from 4 to 6 hours on a focused day. So me, I earn a very substantial full-time income with this, and I've got it down to where I'm working part-time hours. I'm working 20 to 25 hours a week, and that's because of time. That did not happen overnight. I've been doing this 5 years, and you got to know, if you haven't read that book, The Compound Effect. The compound effect is the snowball that happens when you're talking and helping more people and helping more people, and they're helping people and they're helping people. The compound effect is what's at work here, and I've learned over time to get it down to that schedule and get it down to what I know is productive for me. So it takes time to get you to that place. But if you're unwilling to give up, and you're unwilling to, if you're unwilling to just figure out, as long as you are willing to figure out what you need to figure out, then you'll grow and you'll find that sweet spot and that balance for yourself. So.
I got a question now. Now I know what I want to ask you. So I had the situation happen yesterday where she doesn't know anything about Beachbody. And I have a video about 2B Mindset. I have a video about Lift Forward that I normally send. But I don't have a video about all the other programs. Do you have some that you normally use to send out to people, a couple of minutes videos to show the program or to show the different programs?
Yeah, there's a few different things you can do for that. Like I have, I'll actually post in our group, because I have a whole description of like all of our programs with a YouTube link. And so I just send like a YouTube link of them, but I have that all like typed out. It's actually in our Coach Like a Boss files.
Okay.
And I have that. So like anytime I'm referring to, like, I'll think of like 3 programs I want to recommend them, I'll just copy and paste those program descriptions in the link. And then they have one too, like if you just wanted to show them kind of what Beachbody On Demand is all about, you can go to YouTube and just look up Beachbody On Demand and it'll kind of show them, like show a Beachbody, you know, version like of a video that it shows kind of what Beachbody On Demand is all about. So.
Oh, that's cool. Perfect. That's exactly what I need. I
Yes,
just need to go and
it's
take
good.
it out.
And Devin, I saw your comment too, and it's for me, this is like a full-time thing, you know, so that's not what it is for everybody. When I started, I was working 2 other jobs and running around, and my time was very limited. But that's why I love this power hour thing, because if you have an hour, if you carve out an hour of your day, you can slowly build your business. And it's just about having accurate time and accurate activities on what you're doing. So that's the thing, is being focused in your time and working with what you do have. So don't worry about what you don't have. Focus on what you do have. If you have 1 hour a day, you can do it. If you have 30 minutes a day that you can, you know, wake up 30 minutes earlier, go to bed 30 minutes later, boom, you got an hour right there. And so you just have to, you have to want to change more than you want to stay the same. And that's what pushed me to help me get organized, help me get more disciplined with my time, so that I could, you know, see those changes and see that progress. So we're going to time out any second now, but love you guys. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I hope this was helpful. If it was, let me know. If it wasn't, let me know. But if you have any questions, let me know. But I love you guys. I believe in every one of you. And I know that this is going to be the best half of the year that you have ever had. So talk to you soon, guys. Bye.